Joan Bernhardt of Clarence is a very special breed of woman. The Clarence Central High School graduate is a geologist with bachelor's and master's degrees from Colgate and the University of California at Davis. The fact that she's a scuba diver isn't too earth-shaking, but it's where she's diving that makes her unique. In the frigid waters of the Antarctic, as a member of a diving team of marine biologists from the famed Scripps Institute of Oceanography in San Diego. For 5 months, she lived on Ross Island alongside the Ross Ice Shelf near the U.S. Navy base at McMurdo.
The reason I went was there were a couple grants given to my boss, Dr. Ted Lucca from Scripps Institution of Oceanography, and the grants were from the National Science Foundation Division of Polar Programs. And we were down studying foraminifera, which are single-celled marine organisms, and they're important in oil company research as far as they're fossils that are found in oil reserves.
What kind of marine biology study went on?
Well, we're studying the biology of foraminifera and actually the trophic position of these organisms. So in other words, what they eat and what eats them. And it turns out these unicellular animals that we study, they eat metazoans, so they eat things that are bigger than they are. And it's sort of like they put parts of their cell out in a spider web type fashion, and the animal doesn't really realize that it's in jeopardy, and it sort of settles down onto the sediment. These things live in the sediment. And then the foraminifera just sort of engulfs the thing with its cell, and before the prey knows it, it's too late.
Tell me about the actual dives, the holes in the ice and so forth.
First of all, there's 2 different ways to get dive holes. You have to get the hole in the ice first, and one is just by a drill, and that makes a 3-foot drill hole, and the other is to blast. So you use actual dynamite to blast the hole, and then you have to clean it out. It ranges. On the one side it was only about 3 feet thick, but over where our field station was, it was about 8 to 10 feet thick. And you go in with 2 people, and no, the visibility is so good that you don't need a line tending at all. The visibility is just amazing. It's about 600 feet in the beginning of the season, which is, in distilled water, the human eye can see 800 feet. So you can see 600 feet is just almost crystal clear water. It's just amazing.
How about the temperatures down there, both air and water?
We had temperatures of about -50 and plus winds of 60 or 70 knots. So it was pretty cold.
About 100 below? Wind chill?
Wind chill, yeah, sometimes over that.
And the water? Well, 30.
The water, yeah, is about freezing. It's minus 1.86 degrees centigrade. It's constant all year round. We use dry suits rather than your conventional wetsuit. Dry suits are, you have no contact with the water.
Tell me about your gear. Is it regular scuba gear?
No, we use, there's a problem with single hose regulators like this one back here, and that is that they freeze in the cold water, so you have to use a double hose regulator. And they're a little harder to breathe on, but you get used to them. The other nice thing about double hose regulators is that the air bubbles that you expel come out the back rather than single hose regulators. They are coming out right in front of your face.
What did you find in those waters? What kind of marine life?
A lot of scallops, swimming scallops. They're about 90 per meter squared in some areas, and huge sponges that are about 1 meter tall, and large starfish that are also about 1 meter in diameter.
What did you do for shelter and housing? How did you live out of the water?
Well, when we were in McMurdo, it was regular dorm type situations, but when we were living out in the field, we lived in buildings that are called Jamesways, and they were actually designed for the Korean War. And what they are canvas tunnel type things that fold up in a box. And so the floorboard is actually the box, and then you just build these in sections. So it's just like one long tube-like building, and we had army cots that we slept on, and we actually had a microwave oven, which was really nice because we never thought about what we were going to have for dinner, and everything's always frozen.
Where do you plug it in?
We had a big generator.
Okay.
We had a big generator.
What's next on the agenda for Joan Bernhardt?
I'll be actually starting classes at Scripps, working on my PhD, and that'll take 3 or 4 years or so.
Any other junkets in the making?
I'll probably be going back to the Antarctic. Not this next year, but the year after. And my boss and I are writing a grant to go up to Spitsbergen, which is so we can look at some Arctic forams and compare those to the Antarctic ones.
In recognition of her valuable contribution to exploration and scientific achievement, Joan Bernhard has been awarded the Antarctic Service Medal of the United States from the U.S. Naval Support Force in Antarctica.